Hello everyone, happy Monday and welcome to day 7 of my Countdown to Sale-a-bration video series. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am so excited to round out this series with 2 beautiful Sale-a-bration freebies. The Heal Your Heart stamp set and the gorgeous Flower and Field Designer Series paper. Now, Sale-a-bration starts tomorrow, January 5th, and this little brochure is so full of awesome new products. I have been showcasing them all week long. I hope you've been able to catch a few of my other videos and my social media posts. If you haven't, you'll want to go back through and watch them because there's lots to love in this little brochure. Now, as I said, today we're wrapping it up with our last 2 products, the Heal Your Heart stamp set, which is just a lovely sentiment set, has beautiful fonts and just really lovely sentiments. This one at the top is really significant right now. We're in this together. This is kind of the theme of the day, of the year, of the last year and a bit with everything that's going on with COVID. So I love this stamp set. I love the sentiments in it. And I especially love the fonts. Now, the Flower and Fields DSP is absolutely gorgeous. We have hand-painted patterns. So the designers at Stampin' Up! Actually hand-painted all of these flowers to create this designer series paper. And it has gorgeous florals on one side and then lovely patterns on the back that can be used for just about anything. These are awesome patterns for masculine cards, for Christmas, for birthdays. There's all sorts of things you can do with these patterns, but they are just lovely. And we are going to design make a really fun wow card today with some of this paper. So before I get any further, let me just have a look and see who's joining me today. Who came back for the last episode? Oh, Gail is here, and Bonnie, and Sue, and Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Oh, Susie. Oh, you've been watching every day. Thank you so much for watching each day, Susie. I so appreciate it. Now, let me show you the card that we're going to make today. So this is a fun fold card. It folds flat, okay, but it opens up and stands like this. So it has a little bit of a pop-out feature that just creates such a wow, such a pretty card with such a simple fold. Now, I wish I could take credit for this particular fold design. I can't. I saw a video that Patty Bennett did sometime in December, actually, that showcased this particular fold, and I knew I had to try it. And man, oh man, am I ever glad it did. I did. So let's get to it. I'm going to show you how to do the fold. So easy. And then how I put this card together. So let's bring in all of our goodies. Hey, Heather. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Louise. Hope you ladies are all doing well. All right, so to start, I have a piece of shaded spruce cardstock. So that's going to be the foundation of my card, okay? It is 8.5 by 5.5, so it's just a half sheet of cardstock. Nothing fancy, no special measurements there. But it has some interesting scoring. So the score lines, I'm going to give you the measurements and then I will post them in the video description after I'm done, okay? So you don't have to write these down. They'll be posted for you. But dimensions, so with the 8.5 inch side at the top, you're going to score at 2 inches, at 3 1/8, 5 3/8, and 6.5. Okay, I'll say that again. At 2 inches, 3 1/8, 5 3/8, and 6 1/2. Okay, again, I will put those instructions or those dimensions in the video description. Then it's just a matter of doing some fancy folding. So I'm going to turn my card so it's sort of in a portrait orientation. My first fold on this first score line, I'm going to fold upwards. So if you think of it as a valley fold, okay, the next one I'm going to do as a mountain fold. So this is actually going to fold under. Okay, so valley, mountain. Next one is going to be a valley. Or sorry, a mountain, I should say. And then finally a valley. Okay, so that when I put this all down and I crisp it up, that's what I end up with. Okay, so it's a little bit narrower when it's folded flat than a standard card. It's actually 4 inches wide rather than 4 1/4. Okay, that allows me to add a little extra something onto my card so that I can still fit it in the envelope. Okay, So there's that. All right. So to create our background, we're going to use some of this gorgeous Flower and Field DSP. So I actually used the same sheet, but I flipped the sheet for the center panel. So the two side panels of DSP are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so you need 2 of them, and they are going to glue, you'll see when I flatten this out, they're going to glue onto the little side panels, centered. I'm just going to flip that because it feels like it should be flipped, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of my DSP, and we're going to glue this guy on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it around and we're going to glue this guy on this side. So 2 pieces again, 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. Now you certainly could add a layer in between. I didn't. I know you're probably shocked. I actually have wider borders on this card. I actually tried, I'll be honest. I did attempt, but then I found it was too bulky and it didn't stand up quite as nicely as I wanted it to. Okay, so there are my side panels done. And then my center panel is just the reverse side of this DSP, and it is 2 by 5 1/4. And it's going to get glued in the center like that. Now, when I'm gluing this on, I like to glue it with the card folded shut so that I can line up my top and bottom edges of my DSP so it all looks nice and even. So we'll go ahead and add a little adhesive there. And then we're going to glue this guy on right in the middle of that center panel. And I like using a slightly more subtle pattern, I guess I should say, so that my focal image stands out nicely. All right, so that is it. That's for our card front, okay? Now we're gonna work on our focal image. So to start, I have a piece, just some scrap of Misty Moonlight cardstock. And I have the flower image, or one of the flower images from the Floral Essence stamp set. Now, this is in the annual catalog. It's been around for a couple of years, I think. And so I'm using this image here, okay? So I'm going to stamp that image, and I'm going to create 2 3D flowers. So I'm going to stamp it 4 times, okay? Because I want 2 layers of these flowers to create my flowers, okay? So 1... and I need to leave a little bit of space in between, so I have room to punch. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I'm stamping in Misty Moonlight ink on Misty Moonlight cardstock. So it's a tone-on-tone effect. Then I'm going to bring in my perennial blossom, perennial flower, perennial bloom, perennial something. Punch, and I'm going to, this is also in the annual catalog, I'm going to punch out each one of these little flowers that I stamped. Hi, Gail. Thanks for joining. Yes, Louise, this DSP is gorgeous. It is absolutely fantastic. And one more. Okay. So that is that. Now, if you'll notice, I'll just quickly show you on my sample. So do you see the sort of white highlights on the flowers on the DSP? Well, I wanted to kind of replicate that on my stamped flowers. So before I assemble these, I'm going to bring in my white watercolor pencil. And I love using this thing to just add really subtle highlights. And literally, I'm just kind of drawing some lines on the petals, similar to what the texture that's already there. So I'm just coming in with my watercolor pencil and adding those highlights to each petal. Okay, this is not high tech or fancy. I am just basically drawing lines on each petal. Okay, and one more. There we go. Okay, simple, simple, simple. All right, perennial flower punch. Thank you, Louise. I knew you would bail me out. Okay, so then I'm going to take each one of my punched flowers and I'm going to, just with my bone folder, gently curl them. Okay, just a little bit to give my petals a little bit of dimension. So they're not flat, flat, flat. So we'll do each one of these just like that. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and layer them. So you need two, as I said, two of these little 3-petal flowers to create each flower for our card. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the center and then layer them together. So there's one, and there is two. Okay, super simple. And then we're going to add a little bit of greenery. Now, this greenery is die cut using the Forever Flourishing. Oh, I remembered. Forever Flourishing dies. It's from the Forever Fern, or whatever that suite is called in the annual. See, I can't remember the suite. I remember the dies, Forever Flourishing. So I die cut 2 of these guys out of Shaded Spruce cardstock, and we're going to go ahead and just adhere them to the back of our flowers. I love this particular shape because it kind of mimics a stem and leaves behind the flower. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere 1 to each flower. Come here, you. Oh, bent that one. So I'll grab this guy and just press that into place. Okay. And then I wanted to pull in a little bit of gold. So I need to talk first of all about this gorgeous laser cut element. So this is from the Forever Gold laser cut specialty paper. Okay. Super, super gorgeous paper. This is in the annual catalog as well. Sometimes when we have a mini catalog or, a promotional thing coming out, it's easy to forget about all the awesome products in the annual. So I really tried to focus on including some of those awesome products, from the annual catalog. So this is from that Forever Gold laser cut specialty paper, and I actually was finishing off a sheet, so I had sort of the negative, so I used some of the negative that was left over to die cut these little eucalyptus sprigs. Okay, so it's the same paper, I just used the scrap to die cut these. Okay, all right, now before we finish assembling, we are going to stamp our sentiment. So this is a label cut with the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And I have my We're in This Together stamp. So I'm going to stamp this in some Memento black ink. You can use whatever shade of black you have. You don't even have to use black. I just chose black because there was black in the DSP. So we'll stamp that right in the middle of our label. And then we're going to adhere our little eucalyptus sprigs. So what I did is I actually cut these in half, the whole one. This one was just little bits that I had cut from the scrap. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these, come here you, behind my flowers, sort of just kind of next to my little greenery there. So we'll go 1 and 2. And then same thing on this one. We'll do 1 here. And 1 here. Okay, so we have our 2 pretty flowers. Now they are going to get adhered in the opposite corners of my label. Okay, so kind of down this way. Now you want to take care when you're gluing these to make sure that you're not covering up your sentiment. So I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue. I'm going to put a little dab in one corner and a little dab in the other corner. And then we have a little bit of wiggle time to make sure that we get our flowers positioned where we want them without covering up the sentiment. Okay, so they're going to kind of go there. So we're just going to let that sit for a second. We are going to adhere our laser cut gold element centered on our center panel on our card here. Okay, so that is just going to get glued flat with a little bit of liquid glue. So we'll add a bit of glue to the back of this guy. And I'm just going to center this kind of top to bottom and side to side. Now there are lots of different elements that are similar to this. You don't necessarily have to use this hexagon one. There's a round one. There's one that's kind of a rectangle. Whatever you have is great. And then this is going to get added centered on that hexagon, but we're going to add a couple of dimensionals to pop this up. So I'm going to go kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, keeping in mind that these guys have to go on that center panel, right? I don't want to put the dimensionals on the ends because it will stick my card shut. So we'll just get rid of our backings. And we're going to pop this on. Again, I like to do it with it pressed flat because it's just a little bit easier to get it centered. So I'm just going to look at that, make sure it's straight and centered. There we go. Okay. The last touch on the front is to add some centers to my flowers. It looks pretty just like that, but I wanted to add just a little pop of gold. So I'm going to use a few of the gold metallic pearls. You've seen me use these a lot. I'm a big fan of these. So I originally was going to like fill the center of the flower, but then I noticed that each one of these little flowers in the DSP only has 3 little dots in the center. So I thought, well, let's just mimic that. So we're going to do 3 little gold pearls in the center of each flower. So 1, come here you, 2, and 3. Okay, and if you, again, you take your pick. If you don't have this tool yet, you need to add it to your next order. Okay, it is the best thing. I use it pretty much every video. All right. I can't even tell you how valuable that tool is to me. And it's only like $14, I think, here in Canada. All right. So that is our finished card. Now I'll just show you on the back of my sample, I added a Whisper White panel inside that center fold where I could write a greeting. You could certainly stamp something on the inside of there as well. But that is our finished card. Isn't that pretty? Such a simple wow, like not difficult at all. I'll actually let you in on a secret. I was awake this morning, I don't know, about 5:30, and I started back to teaching today. Christmas holidays are over and we're full online because of lockdown. So I was up early and I thought, well, maybe I'll just come down and stamp. So I literally put this card together in like 20 minutes. Before I had my shower this morning. So it was not a big deal. They're not difficult to make at all, but they're so pretty when they're standing up on your desk. Okay, so that is that one. Let me bring in a couple other samples to show you that feature this stamp set and DSP. Here is a pretty thank you card. This is just spring to me, so springy. I incorporated some of the daisy pattern paper and then of course had to use my medium daisy punch to make some 3D daisies to peek out behind my thank you label. So there's that one. This is one I posted earlier today. DSP does all the work in this. I fussy cut some flowers from the DSP and layered them behind my label. And then this is a swap card that just arrived today. Love this fold. I need to do a video on this fold soon, very soon. But it is an arrow fold, I think it's called. It's so cool and looks amazing with that DSP. And I love the way she cut the DSP panels and like they're layered, right? So it looks like one continuous piece of DSP. This is by Karen Duke. So pretty. And then there's some more here that, some more swaps that I received that use the DSP, but not the stamp set. So this one I wanted to show you because it's such a simple design, but a great way to showcase the different patterns in the DSP. You could easily substitute one of the sentiments from the Heal Your Heart stamp set here, but just a really easy, fun card to showcase the designer series paper. Here's one again that showcases the paper and the corner bouquet stamp set, which I featured earlier this week. And then one more, some more daisies and some of that fun paper. And this is the Approaching Perfection stamp set, which is fun and has the curved edge, so cut with the curvy dies. So there you go. There's some more ideas with that gorgeous paper. It needs to go on your wish list for Sale-a-bration, let me tell you. It is awesome. All right, everybody. I am done 7 days in a row of live videos, and I hope you've enjoyed this countdown to Sale-a-bration. Sale-a-bration, as I said, starts tomorrow. Now, tomorrow I will not be live tomorrow. I'm actually going to be live on Friday evening of this week at 7 p.m. prime time for my new catalog launch. So you'll want to make time to join me on Friday evening at 7. We're going to have tons and tons of fun. I'll be showcasing lots of new product and projects from the new mini catalog. And there'll be some surprises and some prizes and giveaways and lots of fun. So I hope you plan to join me 7 p.m. on Friday, January 8th. Thanks so much for joining me for the past 7 days, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this countdown, and I will see you on Friday. Have a great week.